How to repurpose content so you don't go crazy, take one. What is going on, everyone? Thanks so much for tuning into another episode of, the video tutorial content creation series here. I am using the Apple headphones because, again, I want to inspire anyone out there. If you have an iPhone, a smartphone, and a pair of wired headphones, again, you can create anything. So in this video, I wanted to go over a bit more in depth this idea of repurposing content. I've been hearing from a lot of other creators out there. A big challenge for them has been to consistently create content, or they're working obviously like a 9 to 6 job. They want to continue to push out content, but the challenge is maybe they don't think they have enough content, they don't have enough time. And I'm here to say that odds are you probably have a lot of great content out there. The next step in your content creation journey, or the next skill set, is not only being able to think of new ideas and execute upon them, but to reuse some of the content that you already have produced. And now let me give you an example. Gary Vee is always preaching that there's 3 ways to tell a story, or 3 ways people consume content. There's video, there's written content, and then there's like pictures or illustrations or comics, right? And so odds are you out there probably have a bunch of video content or podcasts, and that is excellent content because video content is obviously really engaging. It's what I'm using right now to share this story. And so what you really have to break down in your head is like, who am I as a content creator? What am I good at? What sides of me do I want to portray in this digital medium? Here's a great analogy. You have a guitar. How many strings are on a guitar? 5, right? So try to imagine your guitar as a content guitar, and you are playing this guitar on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. But there's different strings, there's different chords, there's different melodies. And so what are those strings on your content guitar? Let me give you an example of mine. I love movies. I love teaching business. I love teaching people how to create content. I love kombucha, right? If you've seen some of my Instagram content, I love kombucha. And so on my content guitar, I'm sometimes playing the content creator chord. Sometimes I'm playing the kombucha reviewer chord. The next one, I'm playing my filmmaking, film loving chord. And so I've done a lot of self-awareness on my end to realize what I want to share with the world, how I'm able to tell a story or add value or provide analogies through my personal experiences and what I like. And that's what makes you unique, and that's what will make your content unique, because it's you. You're sharing your perspective, you're sharing your experiences with the world through your lens. And so again, this idea of repurposing content, it's really not that hard. What I want you to do right now is go to your social media pages, whether that's on LinkedIn, Instagram, or even go to like your computer where all of this content is housed, and try to find your pillar content. So what is pillar content? Pillar content is master content. It's very meaty content that you already have produced. What is a perfect example of pillar content? Podcasts. If you have a podcast or have been on podcasts before, that is long form content. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 minutes of conversation about a specific subject, topic that either you shed some insight on or the other person shed some insight on. And that is very meaty content. Again, that is called pillar content. It's almost the baseline of where you can actually pull a lot of clips on. And so odds are, again, if you have a podcast already, listen to one of your earlier podcasts that you haven't promoted in a while or mentioned in a while, and listen to it again. Odds are you might notice certain things that you might not have shared before or thought about before. And again, it's content that you already have made that you can go in there, find another 30 to 60 second clip, cut that out, and now you have a video. Again, that's just one example of taking some of your existing content. Here's another example. You go into another realm or find another piece in your pillar content, right? Let's say you tend to speak a lot about, for me personally, I tend to speak a lot about SDRs being more than just cold callers and appointment setters. That is a pillar theme in what I believe. And I'm always preaching that, but I tend to preach that in different ways. So odds are you as a person have foundational principles or foundational themes that you believe in to your core, and odds are you're probably going to be not regurgitating, but you're going to be talking about these things over and over again, because at its core, that's who you are and that's what you believe. And so there's many different ways that you can tell that story or share that theme, again, through the different mediums: written content, video content, picture content, little things, right? So you will catch yourself as a content creator probably saying the same thing multiple times in different ways. And so the game is truly, how do you get your message across, or what you believe in at your core, in different ways, in different mediums, okay? So again, there's an example of our pillar content with our podcast, going back to some of your older episodes, pulling out some of the video or audio, and now you're able to instantly create content from content that you already have produced. Think about it. It's already done. It's already edited. You're going back in. You're finding bits and pieces of it that you never shared before. Think about your podcast. How many clips that you can pull out of a single 40-minute podcast. There's so much different stuff in there that you could already pull out 8 to 10 stuff from one podcast alone. Here's another idea. Written content. Go back to one of your podcasts. Go back to a podcast that you've been featured on. Or if you've never even started a podcast or been on a podcast, written content is a great way to start. But again, if you already have content, rewatch one of your old videos. Rewatch something that you tend to get asked a lot, and create a written article covering the same thing that you talked about on a video. And so again, we're taking a step back here, and repurposing content just means, how can you share the same message or messages in a different way? And so it does take a little bit of creativity to think out of the box and say, hey, I tend to get this question asked a lot, how SDRs can do more than just cold calling and cold email. Why don't I make an article talking a little bit more and unpacking this a bit further? My friend Vince Matano sent me a tweet yesterday of how he made $2,000 off of a single TikTok video, and his whole journey from that video all the way to launching his t-shirt brand. And he made a thread in Twitter of all of the steps that it took. Again, perfect example of existing content that you already have. Tell that in a video, a single video, tell that same exact story. In a written article, in a written content, tell that exact same story in written form. So really the game of consistency just comes down to how resourceful can you be with the current resources that you have. Who knows, maybe I might use this same video 6 months, 12 months from now to share how this is relevant in the future. And so I think if you're serious about leveraging content creation for, your SDR, AE role to get you more leads, to get you that next promotion, to help you build out your personal brand, to help you build a business or an agency that you're trying to start, I think a big strong suit or a big advantage that you have as a creator, as an entrepreneur, as a business person is consistency. Being able to consistently put out content will give you an advantage because it's hard. But I'm here to say it's not as hard as people think, especially if you already have existing content that you can recreate and tell new stories in different ways. Hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions at all, DM me on LinkedIn or email me, Mateo@salesdevsource.com. Thanks so much for tuning into this video.